Stranger Things 4 came out this Memorial Day weekend, and if you haven't watched it yet, please go watch it because this is a spoiler discussion video. But Stranger Things Volume 1 is out, all 7 episodes of massive length and massive scope and style for the Stranger Things universe. But let's discuss some of the spoilers from the 7 episodes here. We do have, I think, what could be one of my favorite moments in Stranger Things ever in episode 4 at the end of Dear Billy with Max trying to escape Vecna, and she's at Billy's gravesite, and the whole episode is just sort of a tour de force performance by Sadie Sink as Max. She really drives the episode, but the ending sees her captured by Vecna, trapped in the Upside Down in sort of that weird, comatose state that he puts people in before he kills them, and they're trying to figure out how to save Max, because the entire time you're going, oh my god, please don't kill Max this early or at all, because we all love Max. But they play Running Up That Hill by the song, and it's just such a powerful moment when she's breaking away, and you can hear the song blasting sort of through that speaker, the headphones on her head, and it's such a great moment in the series. It's one of my favorites, actually. I think this season has 2 of my favorite moments in the series. But outside of that, episode 4 was great. The pilot was fantastic, but episode 7 is really where everything sort of hits the fan in regards to this season, and it's very easy to see why they left off on episode 7, all about basically Eleven and her time at the Hawkins Institute, and then number 1, the first child or whatever that Papa taught how to do this stuff with their mind. It's just a great episode that sort of tricks you. The Duffer Brothers did a really, really good job of making you think that number 1 would be this good person that was trying to help out Eleven. And the twist that, oh no, actually 1 is Victor Creel's son, 2, he is Vecna, and 3, he has been the cause of all of the shit that has happened in Hawkins, is mind-blowing to me. So that whole sequence at the end, like the last 20 or so minutes of episode 7, is just perfect television. It's just perfect, such a rounded cap off to this volume 1, which I was sort of worried about that they would be, where would they stop off? Because when you have volume 1 or part 2, usually that means that the point where they leave off is going to be very, very weird and jagged, especially when they do it with books like Dune part 1 left off at this spot where it was like very anticlimactic. And there were plenty of spots before where you could think like, oh, they could cut it here, cut it here, cut it here, cut it here. And then it just kept going. Or like Harry Potter, I know with the Deathly Hallows part 1 and part 2, everybody loves it, but it's just like they cut it at certain spots where it's weird. And so here I was very worried about that, but thankfully they picked a great spot to just sort of get you up to the point where we're hitting the climax, we're hitting that wall, and it's really long, but we've got some length to go with the last 2 episodes. And so that moment, those moments in particular stuck out to me as big moments of season 4 here. There's some other ones like Murray kicking the shit out of Yuri. That was great character development, great big character building on the Duffer Brothers parts there. It was just such a satisfying moment to see him fighting, and Joyce is like, oh, really? Well, how have you not, fought against anybody real? And he's talking about fighting against 15-year-olds in as a black belt or whatever. And then he just kicks his ass and he gets his confidence. And it's awesome to see that from Murray. Some of the other characters I loved that might be spoilers here to talk about, but Dimitri, I absolutely loved Dimitri in this season, or this run of Volume 1 here. His character is so like snarky and sort of sassy almost to Hopper, but he's a nice foil to Hopper. And then the stuff that him and Hopper are doing, where they're sort of working off of each other silently almost, where, Hopper's egging him on to punch him, to beat him up so that they can get the lighter so they can fight the Demogorgon at the end. And it's just absolutely great writing on their part. Some other moments in the series, the season, I really liked Argyle. I really liked the new characters. Eddie is great. This season, though, is defined by the horror themes. It is defined by all of the horror throughout. We're not doing the Goonies anymore, like I said in the review. This is a horror series now through and through, and it's all the much better for it. The kids are older. It would have been weird to see them going around and doing hijinks as kids. Some of the kids are like 20 plus. I know some of them are a little younger, but they're adults now. And this is an adult-themed show with in regards to the horror. It is scary. It is frightening. It is sort of disturbing in some parts where, you know, especially when Vecna is breaking people's necks from their jaws and all of that. That's really disturbing. I watched the first episode by myself in my room in the dark, and I almost was very terrified. I would say I almost crapped my pants, but it was really terrifying. Some other stuff that stuck out. Nancy gets a much needed boost here. Nancy is front and center in this season, especially in that 7th episode where she's going through the sort of the timeline of number 1, Victor Creel, Vecna into each other. And her work in this series, Natalia Dyer's work in this season is absolutely awesome to see. It's great that she got, you know, more of an expanded role here, because it seems like she was sort of in the background for a lot of 1, 2, and 3, and she got pushed to the forefront here, and she's running with it. It's great. Some other things, the relationship that's sort of being teased, I guess, between Will and Mike, or is Will going to, you know, express his feelings or not to Mike? I'm not sure of that. I would like to see it, because there's a lot of sort of, you know, inklings, and people are speculating online that Will is obviously gay. Who knows if Mike is going to do what Mike is going to do about it. I didn't mention this in the review. In my written review, I mentioned it a little bit. I hate Mike as a character. He is just such an asshole to everybody. He follows the good rules of screenwriting with your characters, where you want them to be stupid and you want them to make bad decisions at almost every turn, but he sort of veers off into that way wide range of the spectrum where it's like he is such an incorrigible asshole all the time. He is oblivious to everything that is going around him, oblivious to his friends, oblivious to everything. He's just a selfish asshole. And I don't know if that's a great thing, if people like that about him. I hate it about him. I don't like Mike as a character. I'm kind of glad he got pushed back here to the sidelines, because I just don't like seeing him anymore. It's just like the act has run through, and what more is there that they can do? Oh my God, does 11 like me or not? Oh, he's being a big asshole to everyone. I just don't like him. It sucks that Jonathan is getting pushed to the side, and Will is getting pushed to the side. But luckily they've got Argyle. Maybe when everybody coalesces together, they'll get their moment to shine here. For the other characters, let's see. Lucas is doing great as sort of his dual role, where he's the popular kid, but he's also with the nerds still. Steve and Robin is great. It's great that Steve is trying to go for other people, and he's respecting Robin's wishes and respecting Robin's sexuality. That's awesome. That shows that Steve Harrington is fully gone all the way in his metamorphosis as a character. Dustin is great. Dustin and Steve's relationship, where Steve is jealous of Dustin's friendship with Eddie. I love Eddie. All the characters they've introduced, I know there's a lot of criticisms about there's too many characters, but they're doing a great job. And the episodes are like full-fledged 60 minutes plus. So they've got plenty of time to work with all these characters. This isn't like an Eternals situation where you have 2 hours to introduce 11 new characters. No. We've got the 3 new main characters from the heroes, and then we've got the villains that we've introduced with Jason and all of his friends. I love him too. I hate him, but I love to hate him because he's doing such a great job. Chrissy, the bully for 11, I hated that bitch. She's doing a great job, but this season has been utterly fantastic, or this first half or first part that we're getting, and it's leading to an explosive conclusion. I don't know where it's going with this. I know there will be a season 5, which will be the final season, but hopefully this gets us to a point where that is satisfying and not just a, hey, we're doing this to do it because Netflix is going to give us $60 million an episode or something like that. I don't know. But the kids are getting a little bit old. But I want to see where it goes. I want to see how they get Hopper out of Russia. I want to see how everybody comes together, because that seems to be the Stranger Things sort of vibe, is bringing everybody together for this final battle against Vecna. And I have one last thing I will mention. I mentioned this in an article I wrote on Friday, but the Nightmare on Elm Street parallels here are fantastic. As a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan, I see them. It's not just Robert Englund. There's some Dream Warrior stuff in there. There's some Upside Down and the Dream World kind of stuff. There's Nancy. There's a character named Nancy. There's 11 being like Nancy, or being like one of the Dream Warriors, or being like Kristen. It's awesome to see. There's parallels in number 1 and Freddy Krueger's sort of, descent into this horrible monster. It's so great, and I can't wait to see where it goes. It left off on a nice cliffhanger, but we've got plenty of stuff to go through. We've got plenty of stuff until we get to part 2 in July. And for Steve Harrington's chest hair and everybody else, let me know in the comments what you thought of Stranger Things 4. Try to leave a little bit of spoiler warning or whatever. But if anybody's reading the comments of a spoiler video, I'm sorry, I can't do much more for you. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see. And it'll help you see my videos so you can see every new video I post about heavy metal, horror movies, video games, you name it, I cover it. And that'll do it for this Stranger Things spoiler video. So you can see Stranger Things on Netflix, Stranger Things 4, and we'll get the last 2 episodes sometime in July. But until then, stay strange, stay away from Vecna, and I'll see you again real soon.